Waking reflects my taste as an editor in that, first, it has a very clear theme to it, and its subject is very clear. The title tells you what the poem is going to be about, which isn't to say that like that's exactly how I like every poem to be, but I enjoy a poem where I can understand, I know what the subject is, and then I can read the poem and see all of the different ways the poem is approaching the subject, which is very much what this poem is doing. Because then, you get to have insight into a subject in many different ways. And two, the poem does a couple of fun technical things. I really enjoy the parentheticals in here. So, first, I remember I have an eye, an instant for desire, I weigh my arm, I have an arm is the first one. And then the second one is I lift a mirror of water to my face, I have a face. And I really enjoy both of those because it really reinforces the theme of somebody's waking up. They're just coming into consciousness. And so the parenthetical is like almost this joyous, like, oh, I have an arm. Oh, I have a face. This is really neat. Mm-hmm. Which is something which I really enjoy.
So if a poet is looking to submit to the journal, how can they look at Waking and get ideas for what would might be attractive to you as an editor in their writing?
Yeah. So what I find attractive in a piece is, like, first on its surface level, can I read it and understand to some extent what it's about? I don't particularly enjoy looking at a poem and being like, well, I have to spend a lot of time just to figure out what the subject is. I would much rather I can do a surface level reading and be like, okay, here's the general gist, and then I get to explore it and really dig into it if I enjoy it. So that's one thing that Waking does that I really like and would love to see in the poems that we've seen submitted. And two, I feel like it's the most basic stuff, but it's got some lovely imagery, which I'm all about, and it's all connected, and it all fits together towards the major theme. Nothing feels out of place or superfluous in Waking. And then third, a little bit of flourish. I would love to see a little bit of stuff with like parentheticals or this, what Waking does, which is take this, very familiar thing and then turn it into something unfamiliar and like move us through this process that the poet has made unfamiliar by taking it so slowly and using language that we wouldn't usually use to describe like waking up in the morning. And then unrelated to Waking, but I would love to see some metered pieces, some rhymed pieces, people working with formal elements, because that just like is super cool to me and it kind of blows my mind because it is pretty hard. So I would also love to see that.
Yeah, that's good. Can you say the word superfluous into the mic for me?
Superfluous?
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm just going to edit that. I'll just splice that in where you said superfluous. I assume you said superfluous.
I did mean to say superfluous.
Okay.
It's one of those words I learned by reading.
Yeah, I wasn't going to have you redo the whole spiel. I've done it before. I'll just splice in you saying superfluous.